Some Igbo leaders continue to bicker over the emergence of Peter Obi as running mate to Atiku Abubakar. Former President Goodluck Jonathan has appealed to the leaders of the People's Democratic Party (PDP) in the Southeast Zone to support the party's presidential candidate Atiku Abubakar in his choice of Peter Obi as his running mate to ensure victory for PDP in the next year's general election. Now, the former president's appeal follows a statement issued on Saturday by leaders of the party in the zone, stating that they were not properly consulted before Mr. Obi's nomination was made public. Now, in a written statement that reads in part, Mr. Jonathan said, "I therefore want to directly appeal to my brothers and sisters from the Southeast Zone who are members of our party to reconsider their position and allow the presidential candidate of the PDP to select a candidate he thinks he can work with to be able to achieve the party's development goals." Now, since Atiku has already nominated Mr. Obi as his running mate, I am pleading with my party members from the zone to accept his choice.
In the meantime, the Rivers State Governor Nyesom Wike has declared that he will wholeheartedly support the People's Democratic Party (PDP's) candidate Atiku Abubakar to electoral victory in 2019. Wike explained that although he promoted the candidature of Sokoto State Governor Aminu Tambuwal at the PDP convention, he had since accepted the choice of the party as the way forward. The governor was speaking at a Thanksgiving service for the successful hosting of the 2018 PDP National Convention in Rivers State, and he said, quote, "The party has made a choice, and as a loyal party man, I stand by the choice of the party. I will support His Excellency Atiku Abubakar to victory in 2019. That is what is called party loyalty."
Now, to discuss this issue, Dr. Okey Ikechukwu, Senior Fellow at Nnamdi Azikiwe University Business School and a member of Day State Editorial Board, joins us. You're welcome.
Thank you.
Very well, so let's get into this. And the big question here is why the bickering concerning the selection of Peter Obi as Atiku's running mate, particularly when you look at the grudge coming from some members of the party in the Southeast?
No, the first issue is that we are told that leaders of the Southeast raised issues. Who made them leaders? That's number one. Number two, yes, they are members of the PDP. What extent of consultation did they carry out at the time they said that Atiku made them a promise, assuming that is true? Number three, even the public outing of the moment, does that suggest a leadership of a group that is thorough, thoughtful, concerned about perception and image? Do elders take their matters to the village square, or do they discuss in the palace and then inform the public later? These are the things you used to consider to determine, yes, that these are leaders. And being specific, if you recall one of the governors when he spoke on behalf of them, that same governor was the one championing grazing, granting of grazing lands in his state. And he took it beyond and around the federation. Whom did he consult? So all of these aside, I'm talking about the reflexes of those who presume to be complaining about consultation. Secondly, do we have precedent of these presidents who make choices of their vice? The way Atiku has done, the answer is yes. Atiku himself, how was he chosen by Obasanjo? So what you see is an avoidable embarrassment for the Southeast, which was not avoided because people thought of themselves as owners of the Southeast. What's the position of the traditional rulers in the Southeast? What is the position of the business community in the Southeast? So this presumed position of the Southeast, to what extent is it a result of consultation? So let's put it in context. There are individuals who are not happy with Peter Obi, both because of who he is and because of his politics.
It seems like a lot of governors. I'm looking at it. It's quite unfortunate, you must say, because of course he was a governor of a state in the Southeast and was successful, going by the records that he had while he was governor, and of course what he left while leaving office. And you would wonder, why is it that it seems like these leaders of the Southeast cannot rally around this man, especially knowing fully well that this particular slot could have easily gone to a different zone, maybe even the southwestern geopolitical zone?
No, the logic of their reaction is quite simple. These are personal issues. Remember, there are some people for whom politics in the Southeast is like a kiosk, where they put goods, they put you in office, you bring in money, and that's it. I mean, one of the people in the group that protested was the person who bragged in 2003 to have put everybody who was in any position in government through his power. So when somebody is talking from the angle of business, he doesn't want you to get there because he thinks his interests will not be served. I have no quarrel with that. It will be a mistake for the candidate of the PDP to take into consideration issues that need not be critical to the success of his presidency. The issue about looking at Peter himself, would he make a credible, competent, fair, and reasonable vice president? The answer is yes.
It's a big question, but just about on the interruption. Now, recently, well, we've seen how, things can indeed go south if, when you look at bickering, and a very close example was exactly what happened to PDP in 2014 going into the election. Yeah. And I think lots of Southeasterners will be very worried by this. And I'm asking right now, do you think the Southeast is divided?
No, it isn't. There are politicians and some members of the elite who are angry about the outcome. You see, 2019 is not going to be a delegates election. It's going to be elections by you and I, people who go out to the street and vote. If I've been a godfather all this while and I've been making killings on my own, it doesn't translate to the people. So as for the Southeast is not those who spoke. It's those who will go out and vote. So where they fail, the campaign doesn't drive, that's where you can raise an issue. But that some people came out on TV and spoke and said they were not consulted, how many votes have they garnered over the years? These are the issues to consider.
It seems you're advising that this person should be disregarded. And, the fear is perhaps what happened in 2014 to PDP might repeat itself again.
No, this is not that they should be ignored. Their point of view should be noted. This is a democracy. But the truth of the matter is that political and historical precedent, the capacity of the person chosen, and the circumstance of our politics is such that Alhaji Atiku Abubakar does not need to change his choice of running mate because of what you call bickering. It isn't bickering. What's the drive? What's the population spread? What's what you might call political weight of those speaking? Apart from the fact that they leverage things at the elite level, and in some cases, allegedly, I don't know whether it's true, do some rigging, how many of them come out there and are the people's person? People will be affected real lives. He saved monies that people could see. He lived a frugal life, although I wouldn't wear the kind of thing he wore as governor, and I won't have 2 pairs of shoes. But you see, people could see a human being who would address issues of public policy and public administration at reasonable cost to the convenience of everybody without raising his shoulder. That's what people will vote for. That's what Atiku saw. That's what should be taken seriously. That's why the other parts of the country are talking about Peter. You can't come to the East, election is going on, you say, look, let's look at the precedent. 1999, Ohaneze decided that the candidate of the Southeast was Olufalaye and made a press statement in all the papers. Obasanjo got 99% of the votes. 2003, they did the same thing and lost. So separate elite complaint with the capacity of the Southeast to take intelligent decisions.
Okay. So now how do we move forward beyond this bickering that we're seeing? Because looking at all of this and looking at the comments, especially from social media after this news broke, and of course we saw these leaders talk about the fact that they were not consulted. But can we move forward beyond this? And does it now show you that this saying that the Igbo people are their own worst enemies and we can't unite within ourselves to ensure that we support one candidate?
No. When you speak of Igbo people, separate people who are holding office. The circumstances of whose emergency and the antecedents are questionable, if not for military rule. Igbos know their people. Igbos know those who behave like them. Peter behaves like an Igbo man. Abuja is not the headquarters of the Igbos. Now you will influence here and use it to come and terrorize your brothers in the Southeast. That's different. Over time you peter out. If you recall, there was somebody, a senator today, who was the most powerful man in the Southeast, under Obasanjo. Where is he? His visa expired. Now he can only get into office by cooking up parties himself. That's how most of those you saw on that announcement will go. The Southeast will rise because its true values will emerge through people who take leadership seriously.
All right. Well, looking at Peter Obi right now, let's talk about his political pedigree now, going into the elections in 2019. Of course, he was picked for a good reason, and I'm sure you've seen the statements credited to the Atiku campaign organizations and all that. But also looking at the fact that Atiku says he is going to just be there for just one term. You know, there's a lot of calculation and permutations going on now that says after 2013, probably Peter Obi might become the president. Of course, you know, if it's permutations going on.
Yes, there are permutations.
So now let's talk about his political backbone. Let's call it that now, especially going into the election, of course, beyond 2019.
You see, Nigeria has become an intelligent polity. But talking about, even if you ask Peter himself about 2023, he will laugh and tell you, my brother, you know, he adopts the attitude of a retail trader. Let's finish this talk before we buy more. So, but seriously, on the matter of going forward in Nigeria, Nigerians...
Have this had some of the fears of some of the leaders?
No, there are no fears at all. Because even if you have an ambition, the circumstances, your performance and your antecedents will speak for you. Peter Obi is not likely to go into the presidency and begin to act differently from the person he is. But if you know him, he will focus on the job of the moment. At the time he was governor, all kinds of permutations were also going on. I happen to some extent to be close to him. That's not how he works. First, save Nigeria. Nigerians will see their saviors and invest in it. To begin now to speculate about 2023, yes, Peter is looking very good now. What if he's not looking very good at that time? You've created a distraction. But on the matter of the upcoming election, he'll be a major asset for several reasons. The international business community is thoroughly comfortable with Peter Obi, not because he has made speeches or because he's visited places, but because he's an active participant with values in multiples of dollars around which there's no controversy. You can see his intervention in international trade as a businessman in his own right, successful banker across several. And you see, you also watch the reflexes. As chairman of Fidelity, was it initially? The chairman of a bank, he's the first chairman of a bank I know who rejected his own guest house. He said, why would you maintain a guest house full of staff? I come in here for a meeting and I go away. We are saving people's money. We're not supposed to live in luxury. He had a Mercedes 500. He said, sell it and put the money into the treasury. I come into Lagos sometimes 3 times, 4 times a year. You're paying a driver. This car is worth how much million? Please put it away. Not only that, and progressively, all other things. So, and then what did he do also? He removed, you know, the senior staff will travel first class. And he said, why do you do this as MD of the bank? He said, that's why we meet the kind of clients we need. It's okay, no problem. Please tell me how many of you has met one single customer in the business first class compartment. Nobody. It was cancelled. That's how you manage public funds.
Prudent.
Now let's look at the grievance, you know, with some of these persons. Now, some people have said, well, Mr. Peter Obi may not be a typical PDP man. Looking at the fact that, well, you know, he's been in APGA and, you know, some other situations. But the big argument is, well, doesn't this really raise lots of questions about the fact of some people coming in to hijack, you know, positions in the party who are not core PDP members?
Even the Bible tells you that before you can go in and take over somebody's house, you must be stronger than him. How could you come in and hijack? Except there's something that made people invest in you and welcome you. You get the point. And let us also understand Anambra politics. You can talk about PDP, APC, and the rest of it. When push comes to shove, there's really no party in Anambra. It's a very fluid setting, and many of those who were involved in that discussion, in that protest, will tell you. So when you say, oh, he's moved from this, how is that going to? Let's wait. Anambra people would not watch. People from the southeast will not watch on election day, except it's rigged. They refuse to vote for Peter because the governor of Ebonyi State is angry, or because Chris Oba is angry. You go and you must be on drugs. It's not going to happen because they must ask themselves, what have these people represented in our political life in the last 15 years? Patronage. What happened to Mbadinuju's tenure? What happened to Ngige? Who are those responsible? These are the things people will consider and vote. So it's okay to make all the noise in the media, sound very angry and say, who made you leader? And how many people are you leading? And in what direction? These are the issues. What values do you represent as a person and as a group? You are there as leaders, isn't it? Name one good federal road that's okay in the southeast. And they take it to their houses. So let's not kid ourselves. It will be a misfortune if Atiku Abubakar changes his choice. If the concern is about Southeast states votes, you know, the leaders of the Southeast are angry, and therefore, if you don't remove Peter Obi, Southeast will not vote for you.
All right.
They told us that in 1999, and Obasanjo got 99% of those they said will not vote for him. He repeated himself in 2003, and they stopped making such releases. And then when you speak of, there are things that probably shouldn't be on TV. What is the role of Ohaneze? The word means the people and their leaders. When leaders speak without consulting the people, it's a disarticulated vehicle. The front part is running, the back is behind. And that's what's been happening. There is nothing to worry about here. The only thing that would be proper to do is to find what you might call some form of appeasement, some conversation. But let's not overrate those who say
like
those
Atiku
things.
seems to have a lot of appeasing going on. Of course, we saw what the fallout from the PDP primaries. But on a
I was the spokesman of Tambuwal in the primaries. Oh, yes.
Okay, so let's move on from the. But on a lighter note, one thing that Nigerians are definitely looking forward to going into the election in 2019 is a presidential debate. We might not get a presidential debate, but the vice presidential candidates of the
be out of
PDP
place to have them in a room.
and the APC. We're looking forward to that one. Of course, looking at Peter Obi, you've just given us some of his credentials, and also looking at the vice president,
Yes.
Professor Yemi Osinbajo, of course, who is competent and very intelligent.
You see, for me, this is political evolution for Nigeria, where for the first time in a long time, they listen to leaders and see them as statesmen and make intelligent choices and at least hear good English and good analysis, even if it doesn't turn out to performance. But they should go beyond that. They should also set up debate between the spokespersons of the various candidates, between the party chairmen, so politics becomes organic. So that political parties will not go to buy votes during elections, but resume political education, which is to go and talk to their members in the WhatsApp. You find the excitement. I don't agree with you because I'm APC, and I'll tell you what PDP represents. And you say your PDP is rubbish. Everybody comes alive. The option of killing will not arise because this course is going on.
Well, thank you so much for being a part of this one. And we're very sure that Rise News will be in the middle of this.
Absolutely. I know.
Thank you so much for coming.